My name is Brittany Morrison. I'm 32. Today is the hearing for my grandfather's estate. My mother rolls her eyes the second I step inside the courtroom. The sound is small, but it cuts through the air. Here she comes, she says, low enough for others to hear. My father laughs once. Short, like a cough disguised as control. The room smells like paper and polished wood. Sunlight slips through the blinds, slicing the floor into pale stripes. A silver nameplate reads, Judge Harris. My heels echo against the marble. A clean sound, too loud in their silence. On the table in front of me lies the envelope cream paper. Embossed seal. The will. My name printed in black ink. Centered. Exact. It waits between us like evidence that can't be unseen. My mother's lawyer adjusts his tie, smiling toward the gallery. 2 reporters, maybe 3, sit near the back. The clerk watches from behind a monitor, her hands folded. Still, she sees everything. My mother leans toward the lawyer. She'll give it up, she whispers. She always folds. Her perfume drifts across the space sharp, floral, deliberate. I don't move. The judge clears his throat. Pages turn. Pens hover. My father drums his fingers once, twice, on the table. The rhythm is meant to remind me I'm alone. Across the aisle, my lawyer sits with a closed folder. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. His calm mirrors mine. Precise, unbothered. I stand there, hands still at my sides, breath steady. The air is colder now, thinner. My reflection in the glass panel looks detached, almost foreign. The clerk glances up again. Her eyes meet mine. A flick of understanding. She looks away before anyone notices. Somewhere deep inside, the shift begins a quiet awareness. A line drawn. My mother smirks. Don't drag this out. Brittany. I don't answer. My fingers don't move. The skin along my wrist feels tight. Motionless. I hear the soft tick of the courtroom clock. No one speaks. The lawyer starts listing figures, dates, transactions, numbers, his voice smooth and certain. The air hums under fluorescent light. My mother keeps her chin high, pretending this is already hers. I stay still, eyes on the envelope. The wax seal catches the light. One thin reflection cutting across the desk like a blade. I breathe once. Slow, shallow. My pulse matches the second hand above the bench. A memory presses behind my ribs, but I don't let it rise. Not here. Not yet. Every muscle holds. They think I'm frozen from fear. They don't understand its choice. Judge Harris looks down from the bench, studying the papers. His expression shifts, faintly, like recognition catching up. My lawyer closes the folder, waiting for the cue. My mother adjusts her bracelet, the metal clinking against the table. You should have taken the deal, she says. Too calm to be honest. I meet her eyes once. Her smile falters. She doesn't see it yet, but the balance has already turned. My voice stays low. We'll see. Silence folds over us again. The judge nods toward my side. I don't move to sit. The chair feels irrelevant now. The moment is set. My heart doesn't race, it steadies. My lawyer was already waiting. The proof is ready. One thought lands clean and final. She underestimates me for the last time. But before I tell you how I got here, you need to know where it began. It didn't start at that dinner. It didn't start in any courtroom. It began long before the blinds sliced the light. At home, the hall stayed gray in morning light. Frames lined the wall in a straight silver row. My picture was centered once. Then it slid left, half shadowed by a plant. The nail remained where it was. I didn't ask. At the table, places were fixed. Father's chair faced the window. Mother's chair owned the head. My chair skimmed the corner, brushed by the pantry door. Plates clicked like metronomes. Conversation moved around me, never through me. And the rhythm trained my breath to match it. Comparisons arrived like salt small. Constant. Dissolving on contact. Your brother needs this more. Pause. Brittany understands. Another night. She's tough. Let's focus on him. I cut meat in even squares. I counted to 10 between refills. The tablecloth carried pale stains no one scrubbed out. I learned the schedule. Praise fell on the loudest voice. Tasks landed on quiet hands. If I spoke, questions turned into errands. If I stayed still, the room stayed easy. The easy room won. They choreographed birthdays like roll call. Cake first, then photos, then gifts for one. Mine often arrived late. Unwrapped. Receipt inside. We were swamped, Mother said, sliding it across the plate. Father nodded. Already standing. I stacked the boxes, folded the ribbon, and cleared the forks. A photograph replaced another on the hallway line. The silver frame caught afternoon light. I saw my face in it for a moment, then saw the glass tilt, reflecting only the ceiling. I straightened it without touching the nail. My hand tightened once, then opened. At dinner, I spoke about a science fair. Mother looked at the roast. Father poured wine to the rim. Brittany can take it, he said, not looking up. The sentence had no subject and needed none. I took it. I chewed. I swallowed water in 2 measured drinks that did not shake the glass. Report cards sat on the runner. My A's stacked clean. My brother's B- earned a cheer. He's trying. The room warmed around his effort. My quiet sat like a knife under the napkin, reflecting nothing, cutting nothing. Just there. When I won a small scholarship, the check lay under the mail. That will help groceries, Mother said, folding it into her wallet for safekeeping. I watched the corner disappear past the zipper. I breathed through my nose. Slow, steady, and reached for the plates. I heard the micro snap clearly once. Smile softer. Brittany, she said during a family photo. Eyes on my mouth. The photographer didn't pause. The bulb flashed, bright and cold. My jaw eased by a fraction. The picture matched the frames. The chair stayed mine, always at the edge. The pantry door brushed my shoulder when anyone stood. I adjusted my plate so the hinge never hit it. I learned the hinge's weight, its angle, the sound it made before contact. I moved half an inch, and no one noticed. The first break came quiet. Like most things there, I had just finished a project. A small essay competition. Printed certificate and everything. The dinner that night smelled of lemon and pepper. My brother announced his new job. Applause. Forks clattered. I waded through dessert. The paper in my bag folded once. Then twice. Oh, right. Brittany won something, he said. Distracted. Mother smiled without turning. Good for her. The knife on her plate gleamed under the light. Still wet. Later. I placed the certificate on the counter. The edge caught the sink's drip. By morning, it curled at one corner. No one noticed when I threw it away. Graduation followed years later. My seat stayed empty in the photos. They were in Florida that week. Flights were impossible, Mother said on the phone. Her voice carried laughter from another room. I stood by the window, tassel still on, gown unzipped. The hallway outside smelled of bleach. Every absence repeated the same pattern. A promise spoken, then erased. I stopped waiting for new words. I learned to fold things letters. Ribbons. Moments into smaller pieces until they fit my pocket. Dinner never changed. My brother filled stories with noise. I learned to fill silence with order. Knife. Fork. Spoon. I moved through their pauses like choreography. Exact and invisible. One night, Father asked me to toast him. Say something nice, he said. Wine glass raised. I opened my mouth. The room quieted. Expectant. Almost kind. Then he laughed first. She's not much of a talker. Everyone agreed. The laugh settled around me like dust. I touched my throat. Once. The sound that didn't come stayed there. After that, I stopped offering stories. It saved time. It kept peace. My quiet became background music, a rhythm they could ignore. They got comfortable with my silence. They thought it meant obedience. They still meet for dinner every other Sunday. The table hasn't changed. The wood carries faint knife marks, softened by polish. My seat is the same corner near the pantry door. The conversations recycle. My mother retells her version of history. My father refines his. Each sentence erases a year. Each toast seals the story tighter. I cut food into quiet squares. It begins small. "You still working those long hours?" she asks. Tone a tilted. I nod once. "You always overdo it," she says. He laughs. She thinks she's the serious one. The sound of the fork against glass follows. A thin chime before the next round begins. They pass the wine before asking. Always the same order. His glass full. Hers almost. Mine a quarter. My mother says, "You don't mind." My father repeats. She doesn't drink much anyway. I drink water. It's colder than I expect. The pattern hasn't aged. It's only learned manners. I watch her pour again. Wrist steady. Smile soft. She said it. She said it again. She said it once more. The same sentence. The same tilt. The same small audience. Guests appear now. Colleagues. Neighbors. Their kind of people. My title comes up like a footnote. She's doing well, Mother says. Already shifting to another name. Father raises his glass. But not married yet, he adds. Laughter moves like a wave. I stay dry in its pull. A sound interrupts chair scraping tile. Sharp. Clean. My hand rests on the table. Still. The light over us hums faintly. Buzzing near the edge of hearing. No one notices. They move on to property talk. Your brother found a condo, she says. We're helping with the down payment. Her voice carries no weight of question. It's a statement of fact. My envelope on the table stays sealed. Inside, the check I wrote for their mortgage 2 months earlier. I hadn't mentioned it. I hadn't planned to. Now it hums in my pocket like a live wire. Mother looks over. You don't mind us helping him, right? Her tone wraps it as kindness. Father smiles at the answer I haven't given yet. I say nothing. My knife meets porcelain. A short scrape that feels too loud. The guests shift. Uneasy. But no one stops them. No one ever does. They trade my silence like currency. I let it hold. Steady. Even. Unbending. The night continues. Voices overlap. The hum from the light deepens. The smell of roasted meat thickens the air. I breathe through it. Slow and even. At some point, my mother touches my wrist. You know how we love you, she says. Her rings tap against my skin. She leaves her hand there just long enough to stage the affection, then withdraws. Her chair creaks. The knife marks on the table shine under new polish. The cycle clicks forward like clockwork. The witness room is always full. They don't call it that. But it is. A table. A mirror. A crowd pretending not to see. The guests become spectators. They eat slower when the tone shifts. Someone coughs into a napkin, then pretends to study the breadbasket. A waiter refills glasses without meeting eyes. Mother keeps the conversation moving. Light as a game. Brittany's always been independent, she says. Never needed anyone. Almost too proud. Laughter again. The kind that ends too soon. Father adds. She learned it from her grandfather. That draws a nod from one of the guests who doesn't know the history. They praise his name easily. They forget who sat beside him at every holiday. They forget who carried the boxes after his funeral. I don't remind them. I let the silence weigh its own evidence. The line they cross arrives quiet. We kept her afloat for years. Mother says, she never says thank you. Her knife slips through chicken. Steady, practiced. The words stay on the table between us like another course. I look at her. She looks at me. For once, father looks down. The guests stay still, forks, mid-air. The sound fades until only the hum of the fridge remains. In that gap, everything evens out. The stories, the hierarchy, the polite scripts all flatten. I see their faces under the ceiling light, washed to one color. I don't speak. My breath is shallow but stable. The room feels measured, waiting for reaction that will not come. My silence stretches, thin as wire, drawn but unbroken. Someone clears a throat. A chair leg drags. The dinner resumes. Mother reaches for the salt as if nothing happened. Pass this down, Brittany. I hand it over. My fingers brush the glass. No tremor. I know the pattern has ended, even if they don't. It ends not with argument but with distance so complete it sounds like calm. I stand when the plates are cleared. They keep talking, pretending the conversation still holds shape. Outside, air cuts cleaner. I stop near the doorway, the same one that brushed my shoulder years ago. The hinge squeaks once, then falls still. Something in me stops listening. The days after the dinner move in order. Morning light through blinds. Coffee machine humming. Same hallway. Same framed photographs. Nothing breaks routine. I leave shoes by the door. Coat folded on the chair. The air carries a faint trace of detergent. Their messages come short, polite, pretending nothing happened. I reply with equal stillness. At work, the desk lamp glows pale gold. Papers align perfectly along the edge. The hum of the ceiling vent fills the pauses between keystrokes. I keep the rhythm. The silence fits easily now. Not as a shell, but as shape. At night, I cook simple things. Boil water. Slice onions. Count seconds until the click of the burner. My movements sharpen into habit. Each one lands where it should. A vase sits on the counter, half filled. I turn it once, label facing the wall. A small crack runs through the rim. It wasn't there before. The light catches it and stays. I don't move to hide it. The phone buzzes once my mother's name flashing across the screen. I watch it until it stops. No sound afterward, just the quiet hum of the refrigerator. The room feels clean, like freshly erased chalk. The mirror in the hallway catches part of me passing. Not the face, only the shoulder, the still hand. Something inside that reflection seems detached from time, like a paused frame waiting to move again. Later, I open a drawer and stack documents in even lines. Receipts, letters. One envelope still sealed. The edges line up against the drawer's border. I slide it closed. The sound is soft, final, like a breath through glass. I sleep lightly. No dreams. No noise. My hand rests flat on the blanket. The pulse below the wrist is steady, slow. In the morning, I brew coffee again. The mug warms my palm, but the heat stays contained. I stand near the window, watching dust rise in thin gold. Nothing looks different, but something is. Something in me went quiet for good. The following week arrives without noise. Rain against glass. Muted footsteps in the hall. The city moves outside like a film I've already seen. I clean the kitchen first. Every surface, every handle. The act feels less like tidying and more like marking territory. The sound of the cloth against steel is steady, metronomic. The table waits in its usual place. I sit for a moment, looking at the chair across from me, the one they used when they visited. The cushion still shows a faint crease. I smooth it once, then leave it untouched. A small folder sits near the lamp. Inside, papers arranged with precision. Copies, records, signatures. Nothing new, only organized truth. I close the cover gently, fingers pressing along the edge until it clicks. The phone buzzes again. Another message. Dinner next Sunday. I stare at the words. The cursor blinks like a quiet pulse. I type 2 letters. No. Then delete them. Then nothing. The screen fades black. I unplug the charger, coil the wire, place it in the drawer beside the sealed envelope. Each motion lands without hesitation. No pause between thought and action. Outside, light lowers to beige. Street lamps start early. Their glow spills across the wall in thin vertical bars. My shadow divides between them. Two shapes perfectly still. I open the window slightly. Air moves through slow. Unhurried, the curtain sways once, then settles. The smell of wet concrete drifts in. I breathe it like memory stripped of weight. One text leaves my phone. Short and precise. Not anger, not apology. Just movement set into place. The sound of it sending is almost silent. A faint click that feels like punctuation. I reach for the lamp switch. The light dims to gold. For a moment, the room holds that balance, half dark, half promise. They think I'm quiet because I'm done. They don't see the quiet that plans its own timing. I stopped being theirs. The hearing room gleams white under fluorescent light. Air still. Aper. Scent sharp. Chairs arranged in two lines. Edges perfectly even. The gallery half-filled reporters. Clerks. A few faces that used to call themselves family. I walk in without sound. My heels touch the floor like punctuation. Not announcement. The hum of the air vent carries across the room. Steady. Patient. The judge sits centered under the emblem. My mother whispers to her lawyer. My father straightens his cuff, pretending control. They don't rise when I take my seat. They look through me, not at me. My folder rests on the table, black against white. I slide it an inch forward. The seal catches the light. Small flash, deliberate, ready to proceed. The judge asks. My nod is almost nothing. Their lawyer stands first. Polished tone, practiced sympathy. He speaks about family, misunderstanding, grief. He uses my name as apology, not address. I let him fill the space. Pages shuffle, pens move. The sound becomes rhythm, predictable. My mother nods at each line as if confirming a prayer. My father sits back, hands folded like restraint he doesn't possess. When he finishes, the room waits. The pause feels staged but necessary. I stand slowly. No sound except the creak of the wooden chair. I lift the folder. One motion. The papers slide onto the desk. 3 copies. Clipped. Crisp. The first page bears the signature that matters. I turn it toward them. The way light turns on a mirror. Their eyes catch before they blink. The judge leans forward. These are new filings. Yes, I say. Nothing more. He reads the top line. His lips move silently once. The pen in his hand stops mid-spin. A rustle travels through the rows behind him. Mother's hand reaches for the paper but stops. Father's mouth opens, closes. No words find air. The clerk beside them glances, then looks away. The hum of the vent sounds louder now, filling every unspoken question. I wait through it. Still, 2 short breaths. Then the faint scrape of chair legs. Someone in the back stands to see. The document lies between us like a blade under glass. She whispers, "What is that?" Her lawyer leans closer, scanning. His eyes shift once toward me, then downward again, realizing too late what the signature says. I don't answer. The silence holds explanation enough. Light from the overhead fixture sharpens on the table, pure and colorless. It spills across the ink, across their reflections on the surface. 2 faces cut clean by contrast. The estate is already transferred, the judge says. The echo rolls through the room like slow thunder muffled by marble. Mother blinks. Then again. The lawyer begins to speak. Stops midway. Father exhales a sound too close to a laugh. He's the first to realize it's over. The document slides slightly under the air current. I place one finger on its corner, stilling it. My hand doesn't tremble. Someone whispers near the back. A question too soft to repeat. Another coughs, covering the noise. The judge's gavel remains untouched. He doesn't need it. I watch them, see it, the seal, the stamp, the date. Every part of it final. The judge's voice lowers. Clear and even. Ownership stands as written. No echo follows. The room itself seems to swallow sound. Mother's lipstick has bled slightly along the edge of her mouth. She lifts her chin, but her eyes stay on the paper. Father's hands spread flat on the table, fingers whitening. The air smells of ink and sweat. Sharp beneath the fluorescent light. The lawyer stammers once, then stops. He searches for ground that isn't there. There must be. He doesn't finish. The sentence dies before it forms. The clerk adjusts her glasses. Her tone remains gentle but firm. All documentations certified. The deeds binding. The single sheet trembles in the air as she sets it down again. I stay still. No movement beyond the breath in my chest. The calm feels absolute. Every eye turns toward me, waiting for confirmation, for sound, for anything. The house wasn't theirs anymore. I don't say it. The room does. Light stretches across the floor, white lines cutting through the silence. The hum of the ceiling vent returns, steady and constant, like proof of continuation. Someone in the back exhales. The sound travels like wind through paper. Mother finally speaks, voice thinner than before. Brittany, she says. Just the name, not plea, not command. A shape without direction. I close the folder and slide it toward the edge of the table. The soft scrape marks the only movement. My lawyer, calm, silent as always, collects it without a word. Father leans back, his chair groaning beneath him. The sound is long, tired. He looks past me, as if I'm already gone. The judge nods once, official and unceremonious. We're done here. His gavel doesn't fall. The moment needs no punctuation. I gather my coat, smooth the sleeve. The fabric catches the light, clean against the black table. My steps sound measured. Heel, breath, heel, breath. They don't rise this time. No one does. At the door, the handle gleams under white light. I pause for a second. The reflection in its metal is small, but it's mine. Behind me, chairs creak again, one by one. Papers rustle. Voices start low, unsure which tone fits the aftermath. The rhythm of confusion replaces the rhythm of control. Outside, air hits cool and colorless. The courthouse glass mirrors the sky, flat silver, seamless. A woman passes holding her phone, unaware. Life resumes its ordinary pace. I walk forward. No rush, no hesitation. No one spoke after that. No one moves. The door to the courtroom stays half open. Light spills across the floor, pooling near the empty witness stand. The air holds a faint echo of footsteps already gone. A chair creaks once, then settles. Someone coughs softly, the sound lost in the carpet. Mother remains seated. Her hands still rest on the table, palms flat. Father stares at the wall behind the judge's bench, eyes unfocused. Their lawyer gathers papers, sliding them into a folder that refuses to close. The sound of paper edges against leather carries farther than it should. I stand near the aisle. My hand rests on the back of a chair. The wood feels smooth, recently polished. In the distance, a clerk whispers something about signatures. The murmur fades before reaching me. They rise one by one. The room exhales as they do. A breeze from the hallway shifts the blinds. Light flickers across the seal on the table. Mother looks over her shoulder. The movement small, almost uncertain. She doesn't speak. The faint scent of her perfume remains after she leaves, thin, brittle, already disappearing. Father follows slower. He pauses by the door, adjusts his jacket, glances back once. The reflection in the glass shows only the curve of his shoulder as he steps out. Reporters pack their notebooks without questions. Shoes scrape faintly on tile. The hum of fluorescent light returns to steady. The room resumes its neutral temperature. I stay last. The judge nods in acknowledgement. Nothing more. The sound of his gavel resting in its slot clicks faintly. It's the cleanest sound in the room. I gather my coat. The fabric slides against the wood, soft and precise. My folder rests under my arm, weightless now, its purpose finished. Each step to the door lands without echo. The space behind me feels smaller, air folding in to fill where I've been. I reach the threshold. Pause once. The metal handle is cool, smooth. I press down slowly. The latch releases with a quiet click. The hall outside breathes wider. Light thins into pale gold, stretching down the corridor. A janitor turns a corner. Cart wheels rolling. Steady rhythm against marble. The door swings shut behind me without force. The sound barely breaks the silence. The corridor widens toward the exit. Each step softens under the carpet. The sound dull and steady. The courthouse windows stretch from floor to ceiling, washed in beige afternoon light. Outside, the air carries the faint chill of early evening. A breeze moves past my collar, brushing fabric against skin. It feels like a shift, not a change. I stop near the glass doors. My reflection appears faint, layered with the city beyond, figures walking, traffic flowing, all untouched by what just happened. A single streak of sunlight crosses my shoulder, then slides away. I breathe once, shallow, even. The air smells faintly of rain that hasn't come yet. The sound of it is distant, imagined, like something remembered from another place. The marble floor underfoot holds my outline, elongated, almost transparent. The space around me quiets again, even as doors open and close behind. Each movement blurs into silence. A woman from the clerk's office passes, holding a stack of files. She nods politely. The papers flutter at the edges, a soft rustle that fades before touching the wall. I move toward the revolving door. The glass rotates slow, measured. The sound is light and mechanical, like breath through metal. On the other side, sunlight waits, warmer than before. Outside, the city hums in a lower register. Cars glide. A pigeon lands near the steps. Somewhere down the block, a bus sighs into motion. All of it continues. Untouched, precise. I pause at the top of the stairs. The sky is pale, almost white. A flag above the courthouse lifts once in the breeze, then folds back on itself. The sound is clean fabric against air. I exhale through my nose. Slow, complete. My hand brushes the railing once, then drops. The metal carries stored warmth from the sun. For a moment, nothing moves. The world holds still, balanced between breath and quiet. Peace doesn't need witnesses. The wind moved through the doorway and stayed a while. Light touched the glass, then disappeared. Everything that mattered had already gone quiet.